Hello everyone, welcome to episode 20, Australian Immigration Latest News live session with Sirus Migration. My name is Isuru Yapa. I'm an Australian registered migration agent, and here with me I've got Ms. Rebecca Huang.
Yes.
Rebecca's an Australian registered migration agent as well. As we advertised before, we're going to talk about a few topics, including GTI, but not limited to GTI 485 and employee-nominated visas, which are the work visas. And also, we will allow you to ask us live questions, and we'll answer as many questions as possible together. And in terms of this session, before we started, a bit of back office rules or house rules. If you have any questions, please put your question down below in the comment section, but try not to put your contact details because it's visible for all the public. If there's any private questions or personal questions that you may want to ask, please send us an email with any of these contact details listed down below to admin@sirus.com.au, or you can always call us if you are experiencing a delay in any response of that. All our contact details are listed there. And as usual, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified each time when we release one of these latest immigration news sessions, informations. Or if you're a Facebook fan, hit that like button and follow us so you'll be notified each time when we release one of these sessions as well. And it is very good timing to be tuned into migration if you're Australian immigration news, if you're interested in, or if you're trying to be qualified to one of the Australian visas, because this is the end of the financial year and there'll be lots of new changes and new information comes through in coming weeks. So we'll be also releasing our live session every Thursday at 3 p.m. and also the education team does their Wednesday at 12 or 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. So you'll get to know all these latest information, scholarship, etc. Yeah. So let's talk. Starting our session today, let's talk about Global Talent Independent. Talking about Global Talent Independent, I would like to take this opportunity to wish our latest Australian permanent resident,
Congratulations,
who's received the permanent residency a couple hours ago through 858 Global Talent Program. This gentleman's Hong Kong citizen. Got qualified through the fintech sector, and just talking about the background, he didn't have the threshold of 153,600 Australian high income threshold, so it was about 120,000. But and then also he didn't have a PhD, but he had the ability that we were able to show the ability for the client to attract the high income threshold in Australia with his expertise. Very good, talented client, and it's another hope, another beginning for his and his family's life, and we hope to see him in Australia very soon. Because with this, the good thing about this Global Talent Independent, now they are permanent resident, even though they're currently in Hong Kong. Yeah. So they are able to apply for travel exemptions to travel to Australia. Yes. So that's very good news.
Exciting.
Very exciting for all of us. Yeah. It just made our day at work because it's our ultimate goal to get our clients the expected results through the visas, and every time they get a positive response, we are very excited, and it makes our day for all our staff in this office. So talking about Global Talent Independent Visa Program, you have to qualify to this program by being in one of the 10 targeted sectors. It used to be 7 target sectors, so there were new additions such as infrastructure and tourism and education and circular economy. So the whole 10 target sectors are resources, agri-food and agri-tech, energy, health industries, defense, advanced manufacturing, circular economy, digitech, infrastructure and tourism, financial services and fintech, and education. So if you're in one of these sectors, you don't even have to be a technical person. So a very good example, I always talk about energy. If you're in energy sector, you don't have to be an electrician to be qualified. You could be a project manager. You could be a financier who's predominantly working in this sector to be qualified to this. So there's some new changes coming through with Australian Global Talent Independent Australian skill visa system. So next financial year they have advertised. They have advised that the total seats or total availability for next financial years, which is starting on 1st of July 2021 for next financial year in Australia. So the available seats going to be 160,000 as of the same as last year, which is 2021, out of which we'll have 70,000 allocated opportunities for general skill migration, out of which last year's was 15,000 opportunities for global talent independent, which is a massive amount. It's almost 10% of the total allocation, so which is a very big number. And we might even see an increase of that this year, because it used to be 5,000 in 2019 program. So 5,015, I'm expecting at least 20,000 or around opportunities, because we have seen news around changing of the immigration system to revamp some of the visas to better fit to labor shortages in Australia. In a TV broadcast today, we saw that they were talking about this revamping through ABC News today, but in there they talk very highly about global talent independent as well. And so I guess whatever the program comes through, they'll be favoring global talent independent program. So quickly with GTI, if you're in one of those 10 sectors, and if you're currently earning 153,600 or above in your home country or wherever you work, and or if you have a recently graduated PhD, or if you can demonstrate your ability to earn over 153,600 in Australia, when you get to Australia, you may be eligible for this visa, Global Talent Independent Visa. This is a fast-track visa program. It's not a point-tested program. So you'll have a good opportunity to work in Australia. Work and live in Australia. So you and your whole family, as well, your spouse, and then your kids, as a permanent resident.
And then your children will be able to go to public school.
Yes, correct.
No any other charges.
Yes. You don't have to pay the international study fees.
Yeah, which is really good.
And then you will also have the opportunity to apply for Australian citizenship after 4 years as well.
Yes, that's right.
So, talking about, I've been talking about GTI for a while now. Let's talk about 485 zone. Before we get into 485, I would like to quickly talk about the business visa program. So 188 visa, 132 significant business permanent residency pathway is being abolished, so it's no longer available. But 188 program has been they have announced that it's going to go through a big revamp as well, or they're changing the minimum benchmark and raising it higher. So there's still time for last minute clients. Most of the states are now being closed for 188 visas, but Northern Territory is still accepting visa applications. We have submitted the last few applications for New South Wales round about a week ago, Monday, 31st of May. Yeah. And then right now there'll be the only opportunity for you to go through the existing system is to go through Northern Territory. Time limits pushing. If you have all the documents ready, you still have an opportunity to apply through. But unless you put your visa application by 1st of July, you won't be able to join the current program. So before you apply for the visa, you need to go through the expression of interest process through the federal government. So you still have a few weeks left to still join and get it. So I guess last opportunity to apply for a EOI would be within the week or two. So maximum by the end of next week would be the last chance, because you need to get that expression of interest pushed through and get an invitation from the state government before you can go join the program. There'll be visa application fee increase about 15% from the federal government, and also the minimum benchmark, according to what we hear so far, is going up to $800,000 from $500,000 for the turnover. And according to my memory, I think it used to be 188-day visa minimum requirement of the asset values that you're carrying right now used to be 800,000. Now it's going to go up to about 1.2 million. So if you want to still join the existing program, Northern Territory is still welcoming you. So if you need any help, give us a call and be in touch. You can still join us. Having said that, Rebecca's got lots of information to talk to you about our general skill migration clients, especially on the 485, because most of the universities come into end of first semester.
Yes, a lot of international students will be graduated from their studies. So I'm gonna talk about 485 visa into two parts. So first part is for a post-study work stream, and then their eligibility to extend their second 485 visa. And the second part is for graduate work stream and then the JRP program. Okay, so from the first part, for those international students recently graduated from a bachelor degree or higher, like master degrees or PhD, they will be able to apply for post-study work stream under 485 visa. And then if you under 48, you have complete 2 years study in Australia, and you have your IELTS overall 6 with minimum 5 in each band, and then you will be able to apply 485 on the post-study work stream. And then this is quite straightforward for those international students studying bachelor or higher degree. So with their extension eligibility, so this only applies to those 485 visa holder under PSW stream. Okay, so people may ask that if they're affected by COVID-19, they are currently onshore with their 485 visa, am I still able to extend my second visa?
Quite frequent question we get.
Yes, and the answer is no, unfortunately. The requirement for extension of your second 485 is you must reside in a regional area of Australia. So, which means if you are currently offshore, you are not able to apply your second one. So, who can apply for extension of their 485? So, for those students are graduated from an institution located in regional area. So, for example, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Perth, Adelaide, you will be able to get your second chance of 485 visa. And most importantly, you must reside in regional area when you hold your first 485 visa. Okay. Some students may ask that I was graduated from one of the institutions in Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane, and then I moved to regional area when I hold my 485 visa. Am I eligible to extend the visa? The answer is still no, because it says very clearly that students must study and then graduate from institution in those regional areas. Okay, so with the second 485 visa, you will be able to have another 1 to 2 year extension. So it will depending on your location. And then if you go to Home Affairs website, you will be able to find out the postcodes for those regional areas. Okay. And then when we move to part 2 for the graduate work stream, this is the most complicated one because this is only for those international students got the trade certificates or diploma from Australian institution. And for example, if you studied certificate 3 or 4 in commercial cookery, or you studied certificate 3 in light vehicle mechanic, just name of those, you will be able to apply for a graduate work stream. But the main difference for this stream is you must apply for skill assessment before you apply your 485 visa. So we will talk about the skill assessment for this trade qualification later on. So with the eligibility for 485 visa, you must under 45, you must have skill assessment, and then you must have IELTS 6 with minimum 5 in each band, and then that's pretty much the same, criteria as PSW, except the skill assessment. So the visa will allow you to stay in Australia for 18 months with full working rights. And then with those full working rights, you will be able to complete your job ready program, which I'm gonna talk.
JRP.
Yes, in detail. It's very complicated skill assessment.
So I think we asked them to put it in the title as well. When you talk about the actual 485 and general skill migration, a lot of our clients get confused with this acronyms or JRP, PSA, PSW.
What are they?
What are they?
So JRP is Job Ready Program that assessed by Trade Recognition Australia, and
PSW is post-study work.
Post-study work stream, and then GWS graduate work stream. So a lot of short names.
If you were confused or if you were wondering what it is, JRP, Job Ready Program. So Job Ready Program is, in non-technical terms, is once you complete your qualification under 485, if you registered under JRP, that allows you to work under supervision, and the skill assessing body will work in parallel to you, and they will monitor your workplace, and they will give you a certificate or an assessment right towards the end, saying
they basically have 4 steps. So with the first step is quite simple. When you have completed your 2 years study in Australia, and then you have completed 360 hours vocational workplace or paid work placement, you will be able to apply for the first step, provisional skill assessment. So with this provisional skill assessment, you will be able to apply your 485 visa under graduate work stream. That's very important for those people wanted to find your permanent resident pathway through
491, 190, that sort of visa categories.
So
we will soon be talking about employee nominated scheme, which is 186 visas, 482 visas, 494 visas, 191 visas, etc. But please don't get confused. Those programs do not necessarily require JRPs or any of these things. So it's a separate thing. Now we are talking about 485 with JRP and etc. to get your full skill assessment to be qualified for
get the
189, 190, 491.
After you got your full assessment.
Full assessment, correct.
So 4 steps. So once you complete the first step, you got your 485 visa, and then if you got the job in your nominated position, then you will be able to sign up with your employer, and then to get your hour calculated, and then keep in the right track. So there is a requirement for at least 1,725 hours with minimum 12 months to complete those employment with the employer. And when you meet halfway through, so it's like 863 hours, then you will be able to move to
the
stage 3 to get the assessor from TRA to watch your performance, whether you meet the job duties under Australian standards. And then after you pass that assessment, you will get the final outcome, which we usually call the full assessment for the occupation. And then you will be able to, apply for 189 or 190 or 491. Yes.
So that's the skill assessment you're required to have to demonstrate that you have the full skill assessment for certain visas. Mostly, this is only applicable for mostly the trade
certificates or diploma.
Correct. So if you studied IT or accounting or engineering, etc., that's a different assessing authority, and you do not need to go to this JRP.
Yes.
And JRP is done in a certain way. It is actually a really good opportunity for most of our clients to be qualified, and also to have that full experience working in the full work task force. So most of the people who gets this JRP get through the JRP program and get the full skill assessment, even for the employers as well, they can rest assured this person's got hands-on experience. This is to avoid any of those unqualified people coming into the jobs, and also to ensure people are qualified when they come through these visas or through the system. And also the good thing about JRP, it's not one assessment right at the end saying you're not qualified or this is not acceptable. They monitor it each step of the way.
Yes.
So if there's any problem, they recognize early and you can rectify it early and continue with your program. And also, even being in these sectors, I wish if I had my education team to give you more advice, because the certificate courses, as we said, most technical people need to have a JRP program to get this full work assessment, skill assessment. But if you were in certain occupation and if you have completed certain special subjects or courses, you do not need to go through the JRP program to get the full skill assessment. These are the qualifications. We'll give you an example. Telecommunication engineer, telecommunication technician. You do not need to go through a JRP program. It's advanced diploma. It's a 2-year course. You can pretty much be qualified right after the course. So that's about that side. Is there anything else that... how about 485 extensions? Did we talk about it?
Yeah, so for the extension, as I've mentioned, that if you complete your 2-year study in a regional area, for example, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Perth, Adelaide, Geelong, Irrawana, and then Hobart. A lot of places that if you completed your education in those areas, you will be able to extend your visa second 485 on the post-study work.
So just by going through the JRP program, it doesn't also mean that you're fully qualified to go through to the system as well. Sorry to confuse you, but it is important to bring it up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that big giggle at the office yesterday around 4 o'clock when someone's got a JRP approval.
Oh, yes.
So Clay, most of our clients know who Clay is. Clay is one of our admin managers. Started laughing out loud because she was so excited when the JRP approval came through. And she was saying, pick up the phone and notify the client, and then also notice that it says this is not the full assessment, or you're not fully qualified to be in the work, because this client actually is an electrician. So he worked in the industry. He followed the JRP, but he's not fully qualified to be in the task force or the workforce. So we were all going, what's going on? And then we had to explain that you're fully qualified for the migration program, but you still need to get your license to be eligible. So this is the same story for most of our electricians and plumbers, etc.
They actually have a higher standard to be performed in their work tasks.
Yes.
Not like the other, like chef, cook. It's totally different.
It is more like when you, even though you don't have to go through a JRP, when you complete your bachelor's degree in registered nursing or nursing, doesn't mean that you can go out in the market and the workplace and start as a registered nurse.
Yes.
You need to wait. There is a little delay or a gap from until you get your registrations come through from NMAC or AFRA. So that's pretty much it. That's our 485. I'll quickly touch base about employee nomination scheme as well. This is we have faced a little difficulty in the beginning, so it's dragged a little bit. But with most of my frequent questions asked this week, it is important to explain a little bit more about employee nomination schemes. So to simplify this, we've organized a bit of a layout for you, and then I will explain each step as we get the picture on the screen now. So pretty much for you to be eligible to become to be in so let's put it this way, to be qualified to be in employee nominated scheme or 482, 491, 494. I'm sorry.
186.
186 programs.
Yes.
This is a very good summary how you can be qualified. Now, when you start looking at this, I would like our clients to switch off your mind from the general skill migration sector. Forget about all those JRP,
Points.
PSA, or whatever the acronyms you started talking about, and also those skill assessment. This is a whole new world or whole new way to get into permanent residency. When you look at this chart, I would like you to concentrate on 191 and 186. That's where you get the permanent residency. So for you to become a worker or a employer, foreign employer in Australia, whether you qualified in Australia or outside Australia, this is the pathway. You need to have a qualification through one of these lists, which is MLT, MLT SSL, STSOL, ROL.
What are these?
So MTS, so medium to long-term skill shortage list. I think it's been misspelled there. Sorry about that. It's medium to long-term skill occupation list, or short-term skill occupation list, or regional occupation list. Even if you don't have your occupation in any of those lists, you will still be able to go through labor agreement. So let's talk about these lists. Medium to long-term list is one of the powerful ones because it gives you permanent residency pathways. And also when you apply through one of those nominated skills, you will have a visa for 5 years, which you can apply for permanent residency anytime after 3 years, depending on your arrangement with your employer. But if you're going, so the list is slightly smaller than short-term skill occupation list. Short-term skill occupation list is a little bit more wider, but it is only a short term. So occupations are there, but if you can only go into a 482, there is no guaranteed permanent pathway just by doing that.
Work rights in Australia
Correct.
for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Regional occupation list again is a little bit more bigger, but regional occupation list might also have occupations that are listed in short-term skill occupation list. If your employer is in regional area and you're committed to work in regional area, even though your occupation is not through MLTSSL, medium to long-term skill occupation list, you will still be able to apply to permanent residency. So going back to how to qualify for 482 visa, now we know you need to have an occupation in either one of those lists. You need to, once you have the relevant qualification for this occupation with 2 years work experience and IELTS 5, if applicable, any licensing. As I said earlier, if you're a plumber or an electrician or a nurse, then you need to have a license. So you need to have those registrations or license. And also with IELTS, for the purpose of the visa, it's only 5. But if you're if you got an occupation such as a registered nurse or a doctor or social work, or even if you're a teacher, secondary or higher education teacher, then you need to have IELTS 8 in each band. So you need to fulfill that on top of this. So if you have the qualification plus 2 years work experience with this results, then you'll be eligible to apply for this visa as long as you have an eligible sponsor nominating you as an employee. So eligible sponsor again has to demonstrate that they're a legally operating entity in Australia who's got capacity and the true requirement of having that occupation in their workplace. This is not as complicated as it sounds, but if you require any one-on-one information or one-on-one support with this, please feel free to be in touch and we will give you further information. So with qualification from, now we'll go back to the screen. Qualification with medium to long-term skills, if you work for 3 years, then through TRT stream, you can apply for 186 visa. Again, the IELTS requirement is 6 in each band. I wanted to clarify, I had one of the clients spoke to us earlier about one of the other videos. This 6 can be waived depending in different circumstances. Like if you're a high income earner like over $180,000, then this can be waived. So there are some exemptions as such, but for normal scenarios, you need to have IELTS 6. You do not need to have a skills assessment for this if you're going through TRT. So this is the provisional pathway coming into permanent residency. But if you have a qualification and it's in one of those higher lists, medium to long-term list, and also you have 3 years work experience with skill assessment, full skill assessment and IELTS 6 in each band, you might be able to apply for permanent residency straight away. So this I would like to bring up some frequently asked questions about this and share some knowledge with some of the scenarios that I have experienced last few weeks with this regards. So with work experience for 2 years, for 482 purposes, it can be work experience that you have completed while you study. So I have worked with a lot of mechanics, chefs that they have worked and fulfilled their requirements as a demi chef or a commis chef or a sous chef while they're studying. They're studying not because they don't have the full skills. They're studying to formalize their academic qualification. So they're fulfilling all this requirement, the job description, and they are working as the full occupation while they're studying. That can be calculated towards these 2 years, as long as it is between 32 to 45 hours a week regular work. At the moment, legislatively, you cannot use your casual hours towards this qualification because casual hours are hard to demonstrate. It is hard for us to demonstrate that you regularly work that required number. So it is not possible for casual hours to be calculated, but there's a lot of discussions going on that casual hours can be demonstrated, and we have experienced it. If you you're classified casual, but you regularly work 32 hours or above a week, then that experience can be counted in certain circumstances. These discussions not being legislated though. So talking about 186, the difference with work experience, it has to be 3 years, but this 3 years work experience has to be post qualification. So you need to complete your course and then start your work experience from there, and it needs to be regularly 35 hours a week for 3 years. But this 3 years doesn't have to be through the same employer all the time, or it doesn't have to be continuous 3 years. It can be within 5 years in different slots as well, where you worked for 6 months somewhere and then had a bit of a break and then you work somewhere else, and then we can collectively use those experience within 5 years. We can use 3 years. You need to be you can be qualified for to become a permanent residency through this 186 program. Still 186, you're required to have an employer. Employer needs to nominate you as with a job offer for you to be qualified, paying the market salary, and also it cannot be less more or less favorable than an Australian employer as well. So we need to show that part as well. And also, these are the straight programs that we talked about. You might experience or notice when you're in a 482 visa under medium to long term list or regional 494, some people use this because they don't sort of fulfill the 3-year requirement. So for you to secure that job opportunity and be a part of this program, you can always go into those visas temporarily. But if you, as soon as you complete the 3 years, or you can also count that 2 years that you use for the 482 program. So 482, if you were in 1 year in the 482, that normally gives you the 3 year anyway. Without waiting for the TRT program for 3 years in the 482, you can, or 491, you can quickly, as soon as you complete that 3 years, you can apply for 186 direct entry through a skills assessment. It is mandatory for you to have a skills assessment to go into 186 direct entry program because it's a permanent residency program and we want to make sure that you're fully qualified. Lastly, if your occupation's not in any of these lists, there is a Dharma list, which is for, I think we have not put it in the chart or the table, but Dharma is for certain areas, extended the skill and negotiated the occupations that are not in this skill occupation list. Due to the labor shortage, you can still go through a labor agreement or a Dharma program to 482 or 482 or 494 program visas.
Yes.
So the good thing with Dharma program, it is you have lots of opportunities, and the lower skill occupations can be counted or can be participated as well.
I think like different state, they have their own occupation list.
Very good point, Rebecca. Yes, I agree 100% with it. So different states and different regional areas have negotiated different labor agreements due to the labor shortage to attract
more
foreign
force
correct
to work in their regional area. Yes.
So they have done it through extending the occupation list, and they have in certain states given English requirement relaxations and
skill assessment exemption or
correct
working experience.
So for an example, if you're a truck driver, you cannot qualify through most of these visa categories at all. But if you're a truck driver, right now, Orana region is using the Dharma program to give you a permanent residency pathway. So if you're a truck driver and you have an job opportunity from Orana region in New South Wales, you can then apply to get into the 494 program, and then to that program has the eligibility to get into the permanent residency as well. So there are lots of other occupations like that. NT is also keen for truck drivers and bus drivers. So Northern Territory I think Northern Territory is one of the first Dharma negotiated who came with this program as well. So there are lots of occupations that can be qualified. So certain clients who are a bit disappointed, they're not getting an invitation for your 189, 190 or 491 programs. Don't be disappointed. You have other options and occupations like that. like accountants. There's so many good accountants out there worrying that they're not getting any opportunities through
the invitation.
Yeah, correct. So use one of these.
Yeah.
The only thing that you have to bear in mind is with few number of occupations, if you're going through, so don't take it too complicated. I'll just simplify it. If you if an accountant goes through 482 program, then there's a caveat where you're required to have the employer required to have a minimum of $1 million turnover, and you need to have 5 Australian employees working there, and the job duties cannot be a bookkeeper's job duties. It has to be an accountant. So you have to demonstrate that somehow job duties of the bookkeeper can be done in-house or outsource it through somewhere else. This person who's getting hired is predominantly doing the accountant's duties. But if you do the same occupation as an accountant in a 494 program, a 494 visa, in a regional area, all these caveats been relaxed. So you don't have to worry about the turnover or the minimum employee requirement. But the actual business has to be at least 2 years old. So depending on your experience, that's where you need a good, reliable,
migration
experienced, registered Australian migration agent to give you the proper advice.
Yes.
If you know someone, talk to them and get advice. If you don't know someone, well, we've got a couple here. We can always help you out.
Yes.
And call us anytime. These are our contact numbers, and we'll always be happy to help you. And I think we've taken lot more longer than the half an hour we expected, but that's okay. Let's see if we've got some questions that we can help you out with, and then if we can't go through the whole lot, I'll probably come back to you. We'll come back to you with the frequently asked questions next week session.
Let's have a look with the questions here.
So let's see how many we got. Oh, we've got plenty of questions. Let's see.
Hashan. Hi, we're holding a student visa offshore due to border closure. Will I be eligible for any state nomination as an offshore applicant if I already have a positive skill assessment?
State nomination. The problem is most of the states aren't inviting at the moment for offshore applicants, and there is a communication from federal government to state governments not to invite any offshore due to these border complications.
Let's see next financial year if there's more availability for those offshore applicants, and then if you meet the criteria for the state nomination, then we will definitely help you with
if there's any you can it depends on the border opens and how it'll go. Hopefully, as Rebecca mentioned, next financial year visa program might have opportunities. If not, there are good discussions going on about opening of borders very soon for international students. It is open for the borders are in Australia already open for certain applicants through 188 visas and global talent visas, and also certain permanent visas through travel exemptions. So borders are closed, but you can also always apply for a travel exemption and come through. So there'll be a very good program coming up for international students to travel in to Australia soon. If you haven't obtained your student visa already, I highly recommend getting to the international student visa very soon, or you can wait for the other visas. Hashan, when the states open for offshore applicants, I think we talked about it. Not sure. Hamro Swastia. I'm sorry if we're pronouncing your name wrong, Hamro.
Sure. 485 visa delay reason.
I would take 485 delay as a good opportunity because 485. The whole reason behind 485 is for you to qualify for your JRP program or everything else.
And you have full working rights while you're waiting for this visa.
Yeah.
With your bridging visa become effective.
It's hard to tell what's the reason, but if I would take it as an opportunity. If there's a delay, make sure you use your 485 wisely because it's a once-off opportunity for a lifetime for everyone.
If you're deferring a course, are there any charges for visa extension? If so, what would be that amount, please?
So Harshan, very good question. There is talking about deferrals. For universities, different universities have different policies. Most of the universities deferring their programs and re-offering universities and also vocational education providers, they're deferring the course and also providing new COEs at no extra cost to clients. We've gone through a big batch this month for TAFE College and certain universities, and we deferred them to July. This didn't cost any of the clients anything extra. You're correct. This will cost your visa finishes earlier than expected. So at the moment, you need to apply for another visa when you come into Australia. So right now, you just have to pay the visa fees. I think subclass 500 we pay.
620
something dollars.
But if you are actually affected by COVID-19, there is actually a fee waiver for those students applying student visa. So
Hashan, thank you very much. You got another question. I see that you help find jobs for 482 visas. If so, it is possible to find jobs for offshore applicants as well. If we are ready, have a positive skills assessment. Sorry, I would like to expand this a little bit for you. We are not a recruiting company, and it is not our primary job to find jobs, and we do not charge any extra money on charge clients to find job opportunities. So at times our clients ask us if we have any because Australia is going through a big labor shortage at the moment. A lot of our clients ask us if we know anyone who we can introduce for certain jobs. Mostly right now, I would say I have been asked this question by many of our clients in hotel industry for cooks and chefs. I can introduce a lot of you guys to opportunities, cooks, chefs, certain programmers, certain network engineers. If you are keen or if you have a good application, I'm happy to introduce. So whatever the discussion you have with the employer, it's up to you and the employer in terms of finalizing your employee agreement. But for offshore client right now, the chances I would say is very thin because no one's willing to extend and an opportunity hoping for one day. Right now, there is a big opportunity in Australia. So if you're onshore and if you're in certain nominations that they have a demand, always talk to us, and if we have anyone that we can introduce, we are more than happy to introduce you. But then it's up to you to go through the interview process and the shortlist with the employer. Prince
How long
Shaba.
does the visitor visa take to approve? So at the moment, the border is still closed. So if you have a travel exception approved, then one of the case officer will pick up your visa application, and then they will start to process if you have travel exemptions. But if you don't have, then you will need to wait until the border reopen. Timothy Lau, Subclass 189 onshore civil engineer, 85 points. Any chance of invitations? Oh, civil
85
engineer.
is a very good point.
Is actually pretty high. If you are currently onshore, he's
Are you
onshore.
in New South Wales by any chance? Because New South Wales, they have 85 points.
Plus 5 for the state nomination.
So there'll be 90 points.
90
I think you'll have
close.
Yeah.
Probably contact us through our email address, and then we can, book a consultation with you to see whether we can help you to apply for New South Wales state nomination 190, which will be opening very soon.
So, Jayashani Gunaratna, you got a question about the software engineers with 90 points will stand a chance for 491 in SA. Spouses, software tester, and both have positive skill assessments for 1 year experience, requirements met date. So, Tasmania and South Australia, they have offshore skill migration opportunities for 491 open and still there, but we have not seen many people being invited. So 491 also is not a permanent visa, it's a provisional visa which allows you a permanent pathway after 3 years of being in 491 in a regional area complying with that requirement. So Jayashani, it is 90 points is very good point, but the timing is in essence at the moment. So due to these border closures and federal government's discussions about not to invite offshore applicants, the chances stands cannot guarantee. You might have other options available, and there might be other pathways available. If you like, give us a call. You sounds like you're from Sri Lanka, so we've got 2 offices in Sri Lanka. You can always be in touch, and we can have one-on-one discussion to understand your personal background. Krit Kachama, hi, I'm currently based in India and associated with my organization for more than 3 years, and I have got an opportunity to work in New South Wales with my team. Can we apply for 186 visa? That can be considered. Of course, he's an ICT
like
quality assurance engineer.
Yes. Offer. Yeah.
I cannot tell you the
ICT.
So 186, as long as you're younger than 45 years old, you're talking about 186 direct entry program. So you need to have a skills assessment and
3 years.
3 years work experience with IELTS 6 in each band, which IELTS doesn't have to be academic. It can be it can be general. So most definitely we're doing processing a couple of applicants like that in different regions. We're working on a software engineer from Sri Lanka at the moment for 186 for I think they're a Melbourne-based company.
Yeah.
So
send our resume and email
with your background.
Then, we will be able to help you to assess whether you are
good. And for Mr. Sushant Kumar, I'm very sorry. I'm a very bad reader. I don't know. Is it my fault or your fault, Rebecca? I thought you meant to read it. Anyhow, let's do the best possible answer for this one. What would be the best step for PR for someone graduating this July with Bachelor of IT from Melbourne? Are you onshore? That's a very good question because best as in we need to know, are you fresh out of do you have any work experience, what sort of IT background you have, you got a software engineering background, networking background, information systems background, etc. And have you worked in past? And do you have any job offers?
Skill assessment.
Are you willing to travel to other states, etc.? If you don't mind, I'm happy to have a chat since we need.
He's a software engineering.
Oh, good.
And then he has working experience.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So. Sushant Kumar, if you like, send us a CV. Normally, we have a little cost for the initial consultation. I will waive it for you, and I will assess your CV and give you a proper answer for your question, and we can suggest what's the best option for you as well. Lena, is there any questions from Facebook? No? Do we have from... We had some technical issue earlier when we first started, so we missed a couple of our clients in that discussion. So Yogesh, we'll take Yogesh as the last question. Yogesh Kumar, I want to apply for PR, worked in Jordan for 2 years and graduated in fashion technology. It's can apply. So it's hard to give you an answer because 2 years and 2 years experience, there might not be a direct pathway if you go through employee nominated. Then again, we need to see your background to see what occupation and background.
Working experience.
Fashion technology. I don't know
what's your occupation in Jordan? Are you a designer or?
Yeah.
Are you a management level person? So it will really depending on your occupation.
Yeah, because certain states and you have 482 opportunities and 407 opportunities which are not permanent residency, and because you're in STSOL short-term skill occupation list, there's no permanent residency pathway through that, but I know this is 494 is in there, which might give you an opportunity to go through a regional area in certain NT and
South Australia,
Tasmania, South Australia. Yeah.
Planning analysis.
So if you like, we can book you up for an appointment.
Yeah.
Send us your CV and request for an appointment with us one-on-one. So we will discuss further about your background. If I think that's most of the questions today has been answered, and thank you very, very much for being with us, and
thank you
for joining us. And hopefully next week we might have a surprise guest, or week after, we don't know.
We'll have a new crew member here.
And she's just still deciding how to join the video session.
Yes.
So
we're expecting her to join us
very soon.
Actually.
So until then, stay safe.
Yes.
Hopefully Victorian travel restrictions gonna get lifted out soon, and we'll be able to join in, most of you in Melbourne itself. Our latest Melbourne office in Suite 1, 529 on ground floor. Burwood Road, Hawthorne is our brand new office opening up. It's all ready to go. We were meant to start on 1st of June. Due to COVID relaxation, we had to take a bit of time out, but we will be there shortly, and we'll see you face to face, our Melbourne clients. So thank you very much, and stay safe, and good luck for everyone who's applying for New South Wales applications very soon. I think it'll be open tomorrow. This is only my opinion. Please don't take it as a legal advice. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Bye-bye.
next week.
Take care.